And we're live. Welcome back for another stream. How are we all doing today? We've got a good stream in store, loads to talk about. We've got Gameweek 21 ahead of us. Plus we've got the double Gameweek 22 news, which dropped yesterday. So lots to talk about there. It's a big first game to this game as well. We've got Chelsea versus Liverpool, or Liverpool versus Chelsea. So we might get some leaks while we're live as well. Anything that comes through, I'll share with you guys. Welcome to the stream. How are we all doing today? Welcome to the stream, Nebel, Bet, Naninaro, Joachim, Tom, Superfan Alex, Aram, Mr. Damie, Mahir, Dave, Priyansh, Luca, Salah, Alfie, Pierre, Charbel, and everyone else. Welcome to the stream. How are we all doing? So yeah, I've made a transfer already. Despite the double Gameweek 22 news, I have sold Martial. And Nketiah comes in for me. I was thinking long and hard about it. The problem is, I just can't trust Nketiah. I can't trust Martial. I can't trust him to play both games. I can't even trust him to play this game week. So, I decided that I would sell him. And it does free up a Man United spot. So I'm tripled up on Arsenal now, which looks good for the Dublin 23. But also I've got a Man United spot free. So if I want to, I'll go De Bruyne to Bruno. That's my current plan for the next couple of game weeks. And then in 23, I might reverse that move and go Bruno back to De Bruyne. So that's my loose plan. Hope you're doing well today. I've gone Haaland captain. Bitterly disappointed by the double game week 20. Just one goal from Haaland. Obviously 5 goals. City scored that game week, but just the one goal from Haaland. It is what it is. If you kept your triple captain, well played. Because clearly there's going to be other opportunities. If you've still got your triple captain, what are you guys planning to do with it? Are you tempted to use it on Rashford in double game week 22? 2 home games? Or Haaland in 23? Or later in the season? Daily Football says, do you think Cuckoo will start? I'd be surprised. I think he's lost the spot. I think Hall starts. I imagine it'll be Hall again. Ashwin's using it on Rashford in double game week 22. So Southall. Not Saville. Bruno 22. I love the Bruno shout from Dale. Yeah, I mean, I know it's game week 21 now, but I'm really looking at 22 and licking my lips at that double game week. I might even take a -4 and do something like De Bruyne to Bruno, Almiron to Rodrigo. Something like that. We'll talk about the double game week lots in this stream. I look knackered. I am knackered. Yeah. I couldn't get to sleep last night. I got a terrible night's sleep, I'll be honest. There's no hiding from it when you do deadline streams every time. I recently got a Fitbit and it measures like how many hours sleep you get, and then it rates your sleep from like 0 to 100. And last night was a sleep score of 75. I got to sleep at 20 past 12 and I woke up at 10 to 8. So yeah, anyway, yeah, I'm knackered, but all good, all good. I need to wake up later today because I'm going out with the girlfriend's family. I've got to be alive for that, for dinner. Anyway, what's everyone's plans this game week? What are we doing? Have you made transfers? Are you rolling? On the experts video yesterday, pretty much everyone was rolling, like 80% rolling, but I had to get rid of Martial. It made sense to get rid of him. Is Rodrigo a good option for this game week? Asks AJ. He's definitely a good option, yeah. Really, really good option. We talked about him a bit in past streams. You know, in case Leeds actually got that double game week or not. And now they have it. Obviously, it's not locked in. It still depends on FA Cup results. But, yeah, Rodrigo's a good pick. This game week, Leeds, they play at home, I think. Leeds versus Brentford. And then double game week 22 is Forest away and Man United away, I think. So yeah, he's really good. Honestly, he's a good pick, Rodrigo. Martial for Ferguson. Yeah, I don't mind the Ferguson pick at all. Obviously, he's been starting every game since the restart. He's been delivering. I think he's got 2 goals, 2 assists. I think he went up in price last night. He's 4.6, but really good option. You can't ask for anything more in the budget forward that cheap. It just depends on what you use the money for as well, because I wouldn't expect his returns to continue every week, but he is a good option, definitely. Yeah, I looked at him. I thought about going Martial down to Ferguson, and it frees up so much money. You know, I could have done a move like Martial to Ferguson, Andreas to Martinelli, something like that. And then, although it's like a 3-5-2, you've got the option of a 3-4-3, starting Ferguson if you want. Nonto's another one who's been talked about a lot. 5 mil leads forward, absolutely killing it lately. Wonder kid, 19-year-old. Scored 2 goals in the cup the other day. Did you guys see Nonto's goal, the first one? It was absolutely unbelievable. It came over the top of the defender and he hit it on the volley. Straight in back of the net, first minute against Cardiff. So he did tempt me. And I know quite a lot of people have been asking why Nketiah, not Nonto. The reason really is that, first of all, Nketiah's stats have been better. Since the restart, only Haaland's got a better non-penalty XG. So that goes in Nketiah's favour. Obviously, Nonto's cheaper. But either way, I'm not going to sell Nonto for 23. So either way, I get a double game week. So I just have to choose which player to get a double game week from. So in the end, I decided I'd rather Nketiah. I'm not going to go... I wouldn't have gone Nonto to Nketiah or something like that. It's too many booked-in transfers because I'd like to get Bruno for De Bruyne in 22. So that's why I got Nketiah. Rocco asks, Andreas or Shaw, Oscar? Yeah, that's a tough one this week. Actually, a really tough one. I think Andreas. What do you guys think? I don't see Man United keeping a clean sheet, so you're basically banking on Shaw getting an attacking return. What's likelier, in other words, Shaw getting an attacking return or Andreas? Shaw's got 1 goal, 2 assists this season. Andreas has got 2 goals, 7 assists. So for me, assuming that Man United don't keep a clean sheet, then I would say Andreas. And obviously Arsenal, what was I going to say? Man United are favourites to concede as well. We'll have a look at the clean sheet odds in a minute. Anyway, let's do the news roundup first, because there's a few bits and bobs to talk about. We'll start with Liverpool. And Jurgen Klopp confirms that Darwin Núñez is in contention to start the Chelsea game, first game this game week. As I said earlier in the stream, if we get any leaks or whatever, then I'll let you guys know whatever comes through. We tend to get some for Liverpool, so we'll see. Chelsea have made another signing. Maduka, is that right? Maduka has signed for Chelsea. And I put a tweet up about this. What do you guys think about Chelsea and how much they're spending? Chelsea have now spent more in the winter transfer window, 195 million euros, than every team in La Liga, Bundesliga, Liga 1 and Serie A added together. Do you think it's fair play, or do you think it's ruining the league or outrageous how much they're spending? I mean, Todd Bowley's come in and he's just he's serious business with all these signings he's making, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea kick on from here because they've made so many good signings, a lot of quality players. What do you guys think? Mav says Chelsea L. Maduak. Milano says financial fair play where? Penguin says what's with Chelsea buying all these attackers? Nottingham Forest have signed Chris Wood from Newcastle on loan till the end of the season. Good acquisition for Forest. Do you guys think Forest stay up now? Where are they at the moment? Forest are 13th at the moment, so they're actually doing alright. They've got some tough teams below them though that you'd expect to move upwards, like West Ham, Leicester, maybe Bournemouth. But yeah, good signing for Forest, I would say. Man United news. Martial was absent from training on Thursday, so this was yesterday. No Martial in training. And yeah, like I said earlier, I just can't trust him to play this game week. So I decided to sell him for Nketiah, and it frees up a Man United spot. So I have the option to go to Bruno if I want to. And lastly, a bit of Arsenal news. Trossard joins on a long-term contract from Brighton. Great piece of business this one, I think. He can play anywhere across the front three. I imagine he'll primarily be competition for Martinelli. What do you guys think? Good signing? People are talking about his age, but he's like 28. I'm an Arsenal fan. He's 28. I mean, he's still in his prime. Some players don't even go into their prime until after that. I think it's a great signing. He won't be a starter. It's unlikely he'll become a good FPL asset, but I think he's a good signing for Arsenal. Any City news? No, not much really. Not much. Can't remember any City news that we've had. Has Pep had his press conference? Isak as a punt? I don't think Isak. I don't think I'd want to go Isak. He's only just back from injury, and I'd say there's other strikers I'd rather have. Like Nketiah, you could go for Nonto for the double game week. As we said earlier, he's been absolutely killing it. Hassan says, how are you doing this morning? I'm good. I'm quite tired. Didn't sleep very well, but I'm good. Thank you. Madueke. Oh, not this again. The last stream was the Doherty stream and how to pronounce his name. Madueke. Maduka. Bobby says, can I have a shout out? Shout out to Bobby. Chelsea still haven't got a striker though. Isn't Fofana a striker? Not the centre back. The other one. They signed a Fofana. I thought he was a striker, but maybe I'm mistaken. Bruno says poll. Alright, what should we do a poll on? Captain poll? That'll be interesting actually, because a lot of people are not happy about one goal from Haaland in a double game week. So let's see. Who is your captain for game week 21? Haaland. Who else? De Bruyne, Kane and other. Get your votes in. Fofana is a striker. Okay. I mean, I don't know what his chances are of coming straight into the starting 11 or if he was one for the future. Not sure. Christopher says Trippier cap. Yeah, I should have included Trippier actually. It's hard to overlook Trippier, isn't it? It's like Alexander-Arnold in past seasons, right? Alexander-Arnold was one of those players who was so consistent. It's not happened this season. So consistent. And you look back at the scores and you think, why don't I just captain Trent? The consistency he shows. And it's the same with Trippier. He's blanked once since game week 6, is it? So what's that, like 14 game weeks there? One blank. Did I miss a super chat? Oh, apologies. Whoever asked the super chat, ask the question again. Oh, that's a bad idea. I'm not going to be able to know who it was. Is there a way I can pick that out? It's moved off the screen now. Supers? Is that it? Was it this one here? Rithwick says start Martinelli or Almiron. Martinelli or Almiron? I would go Martinelli. I don't know if this is from this stream or the last one. Lewis or Pinnock and Daka or Cunha. FPL draft. Oh no, that's last stream. Jack Milner says start Walker or Nketiah. Nketiah. 100% Nketiah. And Walker, it's not guaranteed he even starts. He could come off the bench. Nketiah starts. Nketiah. Peter Galloway says, love the show focal. Martial and Salah to De Bruyne and Mitro for a -4. Move to Ferguson, Nketiah or Nonto for free. Or roll the transfer and play Andreas. KDB and Mitro. I wouldn't be bringing in Mitro. I'd much rather get Nketiah over Mitro. As part of -4. I mean, Mitro's got Spurs. I know Spurs have been a bit leaky, but I wouldn't be bringing in Mitro for a -4. So I would go KDB and Nketiah. Move to Ferguson, Nketiah or Nonto for free. Yeah, it's just whether you go -4. I probably wouldn't do the -4. I mean, for me, it's you either roll the transfer or you go Nketiah. I don't think you do a hit for De Bruyne. I mean, we'll look at projected points in a minute, and Salah's are pretty good for this week. Darwin might be back. We'll see on this stream. I think this is the week to roll. If I was going to make a move, it'd be Mitro to Nketiah, but you can afford to roll, so I would just roll. Or roll the transfer and play Andreas. But why does bringing in a striker affect Andreas or not? Roll the transfer and play Andreas. Yeah, I'll just roll the transfer. I think it's fine to play Andreas, honestly. He's averaging like 4 points per game at home this season. I'd roll the transfer. This is one of those weeks where rolling the transfer is going to be very valuable because we don't know yet whether the FA Cup, whether Man United and Leeds double or not. I think I've got it here. These are the fixtures. So Leeds will play against either Bournemouth or Accrington Stanley, I think, and Man United play against Reading. So both Leeds and Man United can't draw their game. If they draw their game, then it means they have to play an FA Cup replay the following week, and then that means they can't have a double game week. So it depends on that. So therefore, if you roll your transfer, then you can wait for that information and then move accordingly. So I would say just wait and roll. Chris Wood for Ballon d'Or says thoughts on starting Ferguson over Andreas. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's absolutely fine. Playing against Leicester, I think, this week, and Leicester, they went through that small patch where they were keeping clean sheets, and now they seem to have gone back to where they were at the start of the season. So, yeah, I would start Ferguson over Andreas if I had him. Is Cancelo a sell? Yeah, I'd sell him, but this week it's difficult. Who would you sell for? Literally, the only player who's worth selling him for is Trippier, but everyone's got Trippier pretty much. So, if I had Cancelo, I'd be tempted to just play him, give him the week, and then shift him on if you want to in Gameweek 22. Jash Meta says, after the Trossard signing, Martinelli to Ødegaard. Yeah, this is an interesting one because Trossard can play anywhere across the front three. He played up top at times at Brighton. I imagine he'll play in left wing, down the left. So he is competition for Martinelli. I don't think it's much of a factor. I think it's going to be fine for the next few game weeks. I think it's too sideways to go Martinelli to Ødegaard right now. I wouldn't do it. Seems a very sideways transfer, waste of a transfer. DCP says, if Darwin plays, would you have him over Mitrovic? Yeah, if he plays, then definitely. We might get a leak during the stream. If we get anything, I'll let you guys know. Nothing yet. We tend to get Liverpool leaks, so if there's anything that comes through, I'll let you guys know if Darwin starts or not. Captain poll results. Who's your captain for Gameweek 21? 79% are on Haaland, 7% on De Bruyne, 6% Kane, and 8% other. Those of you that went other, who have you got it on? Trippier? Who else is there? Salah? Rashford? Bench White or Saliba? I think I'd bench White just because Saliba's got more aerial threat. He's likelier to get you a goal. Trippier. Kepa captain. Tony. Oh yeah, I forgot about Tony. Yeah, Tony worries me actually. I was having a look at the most transferred players just before I went live. And he is actually the most transferred in player. 883,000 transfers in. Ødegaard's second, just over 500,000 transfers. Solly March up there. Rashford, Shaw, Mahrez, Mitoma. No surprises here really. We haven't even talked about Brighton much really. Mitoma, March, both absolutely killing it. They do have that potential blank in 25 though, which we'll talk about in a minute. Most transferred out players. Mitrovic top. Trossard second. Cancelo third. Salah, Martinelli. Surprised to see so many selling Martinelli. Like Trossard I get. Jesus. Who still has Jesus? 100,000 transfers out for Jesus. Who's still got Jesus at this point? He's been out for about 10 game weeks, hasn't he? C-Max Spud says background music's pure nostalgia. Reminds me of Streets of Rage or something. Yeah, it's I was trying to find like a copyright-free playlist basically to use during streams, and I found this one from Harris. What's his name? Harris Heller. It's not bad. It's background music. Start Shaw or Greenwood? Shaw. Matt says Captain Maguire. Yeah, I would. I would triple Captain Maguire. Where did I get to? THJD says start Cancelo or Shaw. I think I'd start Cancelo. There is a chance he's benched and comes off the bench. I think last game he was benched and didn't come on at all. The game before that he started and I thought he played alright. So I'd go Cancelo. Because you'd beat yourself up if you start Shaw. Man United concede, which I think is quite likely. And then Cancelo starts and keeps a clean sheet versus Wolves, which they are favourites to do. Zayab, thank you for the super chat. Says, hey Focal, would you start Rashford without Casemiro against Arsenal or Almiron out of form against Palace? I would start Rashford, 100% Rashford. I mean, Casemiro will be a big miss, but he does contribute lots towards the attack, but I think he's going to be more of a miss defensively. You can't bench Rashford. He's blanked once in his last 5. I mean, Almiron could punish you, but I'd rather bench Almiron than Rashford. Charlie Max says Saka or Andreas, who to start? Saka, 100%. 100%, it's not even close. I mean, they're both playing at home, but Saka's on considerably more points, more goals. I'm not sure if he's got more assists, but it has to be Saka. This tea is needed this morning. Start Andreas? No, what? He wouldn't start Andreas over Saka. Spam says, so do you watch snooker, Oscar? I actually don't watch snooker. Good question, though. Do you guys know why he's asking that? I wonder if he's watching this now. But former world champion Neil Robertson called me out on Twitter because he went triple captain Haaland. And obviously I went triple captain Haaland. And he blamed me. He called me out on Twitter because triple captain Haaland blanked in the first game. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter who you are. You have to own your decisions you make. If you triple captain Haaland, that's not because I've done it. That's because you've decided to do it. You can't call someone out on Twitter because it didn't get you the points that you wanted. Agree or disagree. And I wasn't even saying everyone has to do it. I just did it myself. And I made a pretty balanced argument for using it now versus using it later in the season. Because there were pros and cons to both. You don't know whether his minutes will look good later in the season, what his injury status will be like. So I argued both sides, if anything. But yeah, I got called out by him, former world champion of snooker. So that was, I was on the train home. I'd been out in London. I was pretty hammered. And I couldn't believe what I was reading on my phone. March for Almiron. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that. One thing you have to bear in mind is that there will be blanks in Gameweek 25. This is a graphic from Ben Crellin. You guys have probably seen this loads this week, but this is from Ben Crellin. And it's the potential blanks in Gameweek 25, which will be dictated by the cup results. So Man United play Forest and Newcastle play Southampton. So the top 4 teams here, Man United, Brentford, Newcastle and Brighton, are favourites to blank in Gameweek 25. If Man United beat Forest in the League Cup, which you'd say seems pretty likely, sorry Forest fans, then Man United and Brentford blank. So a lot of us are tripled up in Man United. Some of us have got Tony, some have got me. That's 4 or 5 players already. Plus there's Newcastle, Brighton. Pretty much all of us have got Newcastle players, Trippier, some have got Almiron. Plus many of us have got or looking at Brighton players like March, Mitoma, even defenders like Dunk, etc. Ferguson. So you have to bear this in mind. So just have a look at that and work out how many players you might have blanking in 25. Something to be careful of. And obviously Leeds are here as well, who do double in 22 but then blank in 25. Obviously we've got a few transfers before we get to 25, but just keep this at the back of your head, especially if you've got someone on your bench who can't be trusted or is out injured, etc. I've got Patterson and I'm hoping he's back in time because he's got Villa at home. I'm definitely going to need to call on the entirety of my bench that week. In my case, I've got double United at the moment and double Newcastle. I'll probably end up on triple Man United because I'll go De Bruyne to Bruno in 22, and then I'll probably reverse that back to De Bruyne for the double in 23. Sam Pleasure says wildcard is active. Big shout this week, Sam. I saw a free hit active on my timeline this morning. I thought that's an interesting one this week. Bold one to free hit this week. If you still got your free hit and bench boost and wildcard, personally I think it's better used later in the season when we've got more doubles and blanks and so on. Maybe wildcard around game week 29 or 33. And then free hit in the other one. The free hits are an interesting one. Every season it's different in terms of what looks like the best week to use it. Sometimes it's when there's a massive blank game week, but it can actually be a waste of a chip if it's too big a blank game week. You know, we could end up with like 4 fixtures going ahead, and then there's no point free hitting because you actually don't gain many points because the players that are left are just low ceiling or highly owned. So sometimes it's better to use free hit in a big double game week because you can just load up with a full 11 plus bench of double game week players you might not want long term as well. Charlie Max says potential wildcard week. Thoughts? Nah, not this week, not for me. For those reasons. Later in the season we'll have lots more doubles. Around game week 30 onwards, I think. So I would save the wildcard if you can. Captain Trippier. I don't mind Trippier, Captain. We were talking about him earlier. Obviously he's been so consistent. 1 blank in his last 14. I think it's fine. I'm sticking with Haaland myself. I think Haaland and Kane are probably better. But Trippier's fine. I mean, you want consistency in a captain, and that's what Trippier is. More than anyone right now. Saki says, Martial, keep or sell. I've sold him. I went Martial to Nketiah for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a doubt whether he even plays. He wasn't in the squad midweek against Palace. Martial wasn't in training yesterday. And then on top of that, in my case, this might be different for you guys, going Martial to Nketiah, there are other options like Nonto or Ferguson. That frees up a Man United spot. So I may end up going De Bruyne to Bruno in game week 22 and then Bruno back to De Bruyne in 23. It's a bit messy, but I'd much rather have Bruno than Rashford, and than Martial, and I'd much rather deal with the striker issue this week and bring in Nketiah, who does double in 23. Tony or Nketiah? I think Nketiah, honestly. I know everyone's bringing in Tony. He might do better this week, Tony, but I think Nketiah is better. Jesus is still out for a while. And Nketiah's numbers have actually been really good. I was saying earlier, since the restart, Nketiah's second only to Haaland for non-penalty expected goals. He's got 2 in 4. I think last game week, he massively underperformed his XG, which you could say is a good thing or a bad thing. He was taking up good areas. Last game week he had 1.4 XG and he actually blanked. In my opinion, the points will come with Nketiah, and he's a very cheap route into Arsenal. But also, I'm having an absolutely terrible season, so my worst start ever, or worst rank I've had at the halfway mark. So I want to go for differentials, and he's 3.4% owned, so I think I like Nketiah. I'd much rather Nketiah than Martinelli for that reason. Welcome to the stream, John. How we doing? So we've got like an hour till the deadline. We've got 1,300 tuned in. If you guys are enjoying the stream so far, hit like on it, subscribe to the channel, all those good things. Get your questions in the chat. FPL Guidance says opinions on Mahrez. Yeah, we talked about him quite a bit on the last stream, and people were asking whether to go Mount to Mahrez, and I said yes, I would do it. It's really up in the air whether he continues starting games or not. I think right now he's in a good spot where he does keep playing games, but he could get benched here and there. There was an interesting quote from Pep. I think he was talking about which players have fight right now, and it was quite a short list of players that he named. It was Grealish, Lewis, who else was it? Walker, I think, and Mahrez. It wasn't a long list at all, but Mahrez was in there, so I think Pep really likes Mahrez right now. But we have seen him troll us so many times before, where he goes on these runs of hauls and then he gets benched, you know, for 2 of the next 3. He might not start both games in the double game week, for example. But yeah, right now he looks like a really good pick. I mean, I went for De Bruyne, who I thought was a more reliable pick. Getting consistent starts, more points over the season, and that completely backfired. It was Mahrez that was the answer in the end. Aish says, start Shaw or White? White. I'd start White. Start Andreas or Shaw? Honestly, I think I'd start Andreas. We talked about this one a bit earlier. Let's have a look at the clean sheet odds as well, actually, while I make this point. Man United, 19% chance of a clean sheet. So they're incredibly unlikely to keep a clean sheet. Actually, I'm blocking it. 19% chance to keep a clean sheet on the clean sheet odds. So what's likelier? Shaw getting an attack in return or keeping a clean sheet, or Andreas getting an attack in return? Shaw's got 1 goal, 2 assists, I think, and Andreas has got 2 goals, 7 assists. So for me, I think I'll start Andreas. When do you get the second wildcard? You've got it now. Do you have any pets? Yeah, I've got a dog called Teddy, a Chihuahua. He's asleep still. He's honestly like a teenager. He has lions. I get up early and he has a lion. He's still not up yet. He's underneath my duvet on my bed. He might come out soon. It's 10 o'clock now, UK time. But yeah, he's like a teenager. He loves a lion. He doesn't like going for walks. He just likes to stay in and play. Vice captain De Bruyne. Yeah, vice captain this week. If you've got Kane and De Bruyne, then vice captain Kane or De Bruyne. I'm on Kane personally. John says, do you do the stream in your bedroom? I do, yeah. I stream from my bedroom. I live in an apartment. It's not a very big place. I'm looking to buy a place potentially this year, actually, because I've been here for like 3 years now. Yeah, I'm in my bedroom right now. Got a little toilet next door, little kitchen, little living room. That's my place. John says, are you feeling okay? You look very pale. Yeah, someone else asked the same thing earlier. I appreciate all the concern. I just didn't get a very good night's sleep. I was saying earlier, I got a Fitbit and it tracks your sleep every night. And it rates your sleep between 0 and 100. Don't know if you can see this, but I got a sleep score of 75 last night, which is okay, but I only got 6.5 hours. But there's no hiding away from a deadline stream, so here I am. No, I'm fine, honestly. Doherty or Shaw? I've started Doherty. It's a bit risky, but I've started Doherty. I really will beat myself up if I started Shaw and then Doherty does get the start. He's likely to get a clean sheet, likely to get an attack in return. Vitamin D supplements. Actually, I've got vitamin D here. I'll take some vitamin D. There we go. Now I don't need to go outside. The weather does not help us pale English people. True. Leno, Sanchez, Raya or Pope? Has to be Pope, I would say. Just depends who your backup keeper is though, because Newcastle are favourites to blank in 25. Right, let's have a look at the scout selection for Gameweek 21. Let me know what you think of the team. They've got Edison in goal, Trippier, me, Aurier, De Bruyne, Rashford, Ødegaard and Mitoma, and then a front three of Haaland, Kane and Tony. What do you guys think of the team? They've gone Threemium. It's a good team this week. I like the Mitoma pick. Interesting they've gone Mitoma over March. Aurier has been quietly brilliant as well, which is a shame because Nico was actually a great bench player. But we do have Bueno now, to be fair. Me's been smashing it. Edison makes sense because the City defenders are just hard to call right now. But yeah, it's a good team. Haaland capped him. Will Ake start? You know what, actually, I've got the graphic from Jump the Wave, I think her name is. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Because basically what she does is she pulls together the fan predictions each week based on who they think is going to start. Mav Rain, thank you for becoming an FPL Focal member as well. Appreciate the support. Thanks for that, Mav. If anyone's interested in becoming a member, you get early access to my videos. There's a private channel on Discord. You get a little badge by your name in the streams and chat and comments, etc. And it supports the channel. Russell says, hi Focal, Ferguson or Andreas this week? I think I'd go Ferguson. Start the striker, chase the upside. I think he's returned in every game since the restart, hasn't he? I did notice that Danny Welbeck's back. Something to monitor. Where is he? Ferguson. Yeah, 2 goals, 2 assists since the restart. Better fixture this week against Leicester. I mean, I still can't believe that fixture, 3-0 against Liverpool. I was at the FPL meetup. I don't know if he's in the chat, but Dan Cross was there. He was there in his Liverpool shirt, and I felt awful for him. He was taking pelters left, right and centre. People winding him up for that result. But yeah, I can't believe that. No, I'd start Ferguson. Start the striker. Hi Focal, injury list. The best place to go for injuries is premierinjuries.com. It's maintained by Ben Dinnery. Not Ben Crellin, Ben Dinnery. He's probably the best source for injuries. I'll just quickly show you the website actually. It's really handy. If you guys are ever wondering about the injury of a player, premierinjuries.com. It looks like this. So he's basically got all 20 Premier League sides, and then for each team, he tracks players' injuries. So for example, if we go to Arsenal, it gives you the player, the reason, some detail. This is normally like the latest quote from press conferences, potential return date. And this is based on his opinion, his professional opinion, rather than the dates that FPL set. Because FPL can actually sometimes be pretty off with their ETAs, because they're not medical professionals. They just go based on what managers say, and managers often don't give much away in presses. And it includes like the condition and status. Like for example, the other day they had Gabriel Jesus as an ETA of, I think it was next game week on the FPL app, but it was nothing like that at all. Ben Dinnery had him for like March, which was more accurate, and now they've updated it on the FPL app. They've pushed it back. I think to just unknown date. Nasty Biscuit Box says, hello Oscar, thanks for the stream. White or Doherty, Edison or Ward? 2 out of Almiron, Nketiah and Mitoma. So I would start White, I would start Edison, 2 out of Almiron, Nketiah and Mitoma. I'd start Nketiah, so it's between Mitoma and Almiron. Mitoma, I think. I would start Nketiah and Mitoma. I'd start White over Doherty, just because Doherty's really a question mark right now, whether he starts or not. And Edison, definitely Edison. Start 2 of White, Shaw and Ake. White and Ake. Is Haaland starting? You'd think so, actually. Yeah, let's go back to what I said earlier with the Man City predicted lineups. Where is it? This is from Jump the Wave on Twitter, and every week she basically pulls together like 20 fan predictions on the Man City lineup, and it's a bit daunting to look at here, but a 1 means they think they're starting, a 0 means they're not. So each row is a fan prediction, and then she puts a percentage by each name in terms of the likelihood that they start. So 100% have predicted that Haaland starts, so I think you're fine there. 100% have got Mara starting. The defenders are a bit difficult. Akanji 93%, Lewis 95%, Edison obviously 100%, and they are top of the clean sheet odds. Ake 100%, De Bruyne 100%, interestingly. They're not always right, of course, it's just a prediction, but they're the best people to ask, the fans. And they did have De Bruyne starting last game, and he didn't, so it's not always accurate. But yeah, I would say Haaland starts. Is that last week's table? No, it's not, is it? Let me check her Twitter. Oh, here we go. Sorry, you're dead right. That was last week's. Let's look again. Right, here's this week's Game Week 21. So it does look different actually. KDB's 95%. Cancelo's 50-50. Stone's 56%. Diaz 56%. Yeah, the defence is so hard to call. Walker, Ake, they're not really sure. Foden's 62%. Interesting one. Mahrez is 91%. So slightly lower than last game week, but 91%. Yeah, it's really hard to call this week. Pep might look at this fixture as one he can rotate a little bit in. But you never know with Pep. It's impossible to predict what he's going to do. Ward or Kepa? If I had those two, I would start Ward. The clean sheet odds marginally favour Leicester, I believe. Let's have a look. Leicester, 21% chance of a clean sheet. Kepa, 17%. I'm blocking it so you can't see. But, there. 17% chance for Chelsea, 21% for Leicester. There's not much in it, but I would start Ward. Playing at home. I wouldn't be surprised if they both concede, to be honest with you. Gregor says where to check expected goals. I use the Fantasy Football Scout members area. There's a link. I think there's a link in the description. Yeah, if you go down below to the description, there's a link that says join FF Scout. That's my affiliate link. So if any of you are interested in using that, then I've made some data tables which are public actually. I will just show you guys the members area actually because it's interesting. It's really useful for FPL. So there's my stats tables. And there's loads of tables here which I've made public. So there's things like the defenders, defence, forwards. So if we look at forwards, for example, all these tables I've made public. It's filtered to 17 to 21 because I was looking at this the other day. I think I was looking at some stats since the restart. So there's things like expected goals, non-penalty XG. And this is what I was saying earlier actually. Haaland, since the restart, 4.48 non-penalty XG. And Ketty is second among all forwards for non-penalty XG, 2.76. So yeah, that was partly why I brought him in this week. Plus he's got the double in 23. But yeah, if you guys are interested in the Scout members area, then a link below to that. Start Cancelo or Shaw? I'd go Cancelo. Charlie Max says music sounds like an old Van Damme movie. True. Van Damme, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Gabriel or Estepinian? Gabriel. Do I think Mudryk will start? Hard to say. I definitely wouldn't bring him in on FPL. I heard he's with the squad for the game. Whether he starts, not sure. Maybe off the bench. Right, let's have a look at the top projected points for this game week from FPL Review. They've got Haaland top, 7.2 projected points. Salah's in second, 6.3. Kane third, 5.8. Rodrigo, 5.2. We talked about him quite a bit earlier. Obviously, they've got this potential double in 22. We'll have a look at those fixtures in a sec. It does depend on the FA Cup results, of course. If Leeds or Man United draw in the FA Cup, then it means double game week 22 is cancelled, and that postponement will have to go in a later game week. Saka's up there, Son, Trippier, Wilson, Mitrovic, Mahrez, Ederson, Nketiah, Martinelli, De Bruyne. Saka or Ødegaard? If I had to pick between the two, I'd say Ødegaard. This season, Ødegaard's got a slightly higher expected goal involvement than Saka, and he's obviously a fair bit cheaper as well, so I would say Ødegaard. Wilson or Isak? Wilson. Nketiah or Darwin? Nketiah. Fernandes for a -4. Not this week. That's a move that can wait in my opinion. They're away to Arsenal. Take a -4 for Bruno in 22 by all means. Have I got that graphic actually? Let me see if I can find it. I think it's this one. In case you missed it, yesterday the Premier League announced a provisional double game week in 22 for Leeds and Man United. So this is how the fixtures would look if that double game week goes ahead. Leeds would play against Forest away and Man United away. Man United would play 2 home games against Crystal Palace and Leeds. So a really good looking double for Man United in particular. And that's why I've decided to sell Martial for Nketiah. Well, it's for two reasons. First of all, I can't trust Martial to start. Wasn't in training yesterday. Wasn't in the squad against Palace. So I've moved him on for Nketiah, which frees up a Man United spot. So I may go De Bruyne to Bruno for that double game week. And then I'll be tripled up with Bruno, Rashford and Shaw. I might take a -4 for something like Almiron to Rodrigo, but I'm not sure about that one. But yeah, it does depend on the FA Cup results. So the FA Cup results are the winner of Accrington Stanley versus Boreham Wood play against Leeds, and Man United play against Reading. If Leeds or Man United draw, then that means they have to play rematch the following midweek. So the game is on the 28th of January, so that's next Saturday, a week today. If they draw, then they have to play in the midweek before Game Week 22, and that means that they can't double. If they win or lose, then that's good. That means the double game week goes ahead. What will Man United's new fixture in Game Week 23 be? 23 is unchanged. 23 is as it is. They'll play against Leeds away. So they could potentially play Leeds back to back. Leeds home, Leeds away, back to back. John says, Oscar, sorry if this is a repeat, but what are your transfers this game week? I've made it already. I've gone Martial to Nketiah. Just one transfer. In fact, let me tweet my team. I always forget to do that. Let's take a screenshot. Game week 21, Martial, Nketiah. Boom, done. Tag me in a tweet, guys, wherever you guys are watching from around the world. Take a photo, tag me in it, I'll retweet it. Ferguson or Welbeck? Ferguson. Rodrigo or Mitoma? Rodrigo. The only thing I must say on Rodrigo is that he's been playing as a forward, and they do have Bamford back from injury. They have signed Rutter in the January window, so there is a bit of competition there. But I imagine he starts all games still because he's been doing really well. In fact, on FPL, no midfielder scored more goals than him. He's on 10 goals. I think Almiron's second with 9. FPL fella in the chat, he says, Dirty Queen or Chase the Ace? Dirty Queen. Is this the drinking game we played? Yeah, Dirty Queen. That's my version of the game anyway. Good drinking game. Will Doherty play? Yeah, it's really hard to say. I think it's 50-50. I've started him. I'm gambling that he does, but it's hard to say. Annoyingly, Emerson Royale actually had a decent game. He even scored against City, so it's not ideal. I brought Doherty in for the double game week and this week. I didn't expect Emerson to suddenly have such a good game because he's been pretty woeful. Am I married? No, I'm not married. I've got a girlfriend, not married though. We've been dating for only like 5 months. She's a Chelsea fan though. Not ideal. Sam Margot, thank you for becoming a fplfocal member. Appreciate the support. Thank you for that, Sam. Yeah, if anyone's interested in becoming a member, as I said earlier, you get early access to my videos. There's a private channel on Discord for the members where they're chatting every day. You get a little badge by your name in the streams, in the chat, in the comments. And it supports the channel. It allows me to do this every week and make videos every day for you guys full time. ABC789 says, hope you read it this time. Sorry I missed the last one. Rashford or Bruno, Game Week 21. I'd say Rashford. I mean, Rashford's numbers are better. It's actually quite close since the restart. In fact, I think I actually prepared the graphic for the stream, so I'll take that opportunity just to talk about Man United briefly. Since the restart, Rashford is top among the Man United mids, 3.78 XGI. Bruno's on 3.18. Casemiro is actually really high, 2.6. If you need a cheap Man United forward, midfielder, if you can't afford the Rashford and Bruno double up. Garnacho, interesting one. I think he's 4.2 mil, Garnacho. He might even start one game of the two. He won't start both. He's been a kind of an impact sub this season, but maybe. Anthony's numbers have been poor. Eriksen's have been even worse since the restart, surprisingly. Between the two for Gameweek 21, Rashford. But yeah, I'm hoping to double up with Rashford and Bruno. And then Shaw will be my third Man United player for that double game week. I'm undecided. I might take a -4 for a Leeds player, maybe Rodrigo, but I'm undecided on that. Novus, thank you for the 3 months. He said, how do you think Trossard will change the Arsenal midfield? Good question. So, I think he'll probably be competition for Martinelli. Interestingly, I read last night that Arsenal would be happy to let Smith Rowe leave for the right price. And I have to say, I do wonder if he's that far down the pecking order now. Trossard's probably back up to Martinelli. So then Smith Rowe is kind of back up to the backup. He'll play probably after the Smith Rowe, after Trossard down the left. He can play through the middle as well, but they've got Vieira as backup to Odegaard. So again, I think he's actually back up to the backup through the middle as well. So I think Trossard will probably eat away at Martinelli's minutes a bit, but not significantly. He can play through the middle as well, Trossard, so he might also be back up for Nketiah, because Jesus is out for potentially another couple of months. So they will need Trossard for that as well. So there's a few positions Trossard will play. It won't just affect the midfield. He could potentially share some minutes with Nketiah. Hard to say, but I think mainly down the left, Martinelli, he's competition for. Why not start Shaw? I just don't think Man United keep a clean sheet. It's a question mark whether Doherty plays or not, but I think he's the way higher upside pick if he starts, so I'm just going to roll the dice with Doherty. Perfect, caught up on chat. Mitoma or March? That's a good question. I like Mitoma slightly more, but they're both, you can't go wrong with either. March has obviously put up the better numbers since the restart. I like Mitoma slightly more, but it's very close. Mitoma just seems like the more exciting player. He's kind of a flair player. I just quite like watching his kind of players as well. He's an exciting player. You know, if you get someone like McAllister, you know, he's going to be good for minutes. We expect he'll play further advanced. But Mitoma's just an exciting player, so I prefer Mitoma. Shane McGuinness, thank you for becoming an FPL member as well. Good to have a few new members on this stream. Thank you for that, Shane. Appreciate the support. Start Perisic or Botman? Oh, that's a tough one. It's hard to say whether Perisic starts or not against Fulham. That's the question mark, right? And that's probably the dilemma you've got. I think long term you have to sell Perisic. He's just been such a headache this season. When it came out that he was a defender for 5.5 mil, everyone said this is ridiculous. Like, he's going to break the game. And that's not what's happened at all. Instead, he's been a headache. He's not really got the clean sheets. Not as many attacking returns as we thought. I'd be tempted to just start Botman. Probably Botman between the two there. Best 5 mil defenders. Botman, I would say. Definitely Botman. Ake? I think Ake's 5 mil, isn't he? How much is Ake? That was the other player, actually, that Pep mentioned having lots of fight in them. Yeah, he's 5 mil. Yeah, in an interview the other day, Pep named like 4 players that he said are showing fight at the moment. It was Ake, Grealish, Lewis and Mahrez, I think, were the 4. So yeah, if you're a Mahrez owner, I think that's a really promising quote from Pep. Aurier, best value defender. Yeah, Aurier's been quietly ticking along as well. Ben Mee's a good shout from Damien, 4.7 mil. But you'd have to say Ake is the best value because He's getting the minutes right now. He's getting the starts. They're top of the clean sheet odds. They double in 23. Luke Smith says, Cancelo to me, differential, Mount to Ødegaard, -4. I don't know if I would do the -4 for me. I think I would just do Mount to Ødegaard. Do the one move and then that's it. I don't think I'd do a -4 to go Cancelo to me. Basically, Mount to Ødegaard is the priority move there. Cancelo to me, I think that's optional and I probably wouldn't do it. Kane captain. Kane's a good shout for captaincy. He was right up there on the projections. I think it was third. Haaland top 7.2, Salah 6.3, Kane 5.8. Let's do an early double game week 22 poll. We'll ask how many players, how many double game week 20 players will you have? So what we're going to say, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, is anyone going to have 6? You'd have to be triple Lees, right? I'll go 2, 3, 4, 5 plus. There we go. How many double game week 22 players will you have? 2, 3, 4, 5 plus. That's including transfers you plan to make, not how it is right now, including planned transfers. So for example, in my case, at the moment, I've just got Rashford and Shaw, but I plan to go De Bruyne to Bruno, so that'll bring me up to 3. Alright, see if we've got any news on Liverpool. Half an hour to the deadline. Nothing yet. Yeah, if we get any leaks on Liverpool, I'll relay that to you guys. And likewise, Chelsea might get something. Mav says KDB Almiron to Bruno Rodrigo if the double game is confirmed, and then Bruno Tamares for 23. What do you think? Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, obviously that's a move you would make in 22, not now, but I like that a lot. I'm planning to do potentially the same 2 moves actually. I'm looking at KDB and Almiron to Bruno and Rodrigo, but I've got exact money, that's the problem. So then if I was going to get KDB back, it'd have to be a -4, so I'm not sure if I'll do Almiron to Rodrigo for a -4. I might just stick with Triple United and leave it at that. Bruno Tamares, I suppose that would work. Yeah, you could do that. That would be my way of doing it as well. Yeah, I mean the first 2 moves make a lot of sense. It's just whether you go back to Mahrez or not, or back to KDB. I think you have to assess nearer the time, because 2 game weeks is a lot in Pep's world. And Mahrez could be benched for one, he might blank in the other, who knows. So how many double game week 22 players will you have? 26% of you are going to have 2, 40% 3, 23% 4, and 11% 5 plus. Interesting. Right, we've got 30 minutes till the deadline. I'm going to just grab a quick drink. I'll be back in 2 secs. Don't leave. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Chair stream. Wayne says Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Wayne. Pepsi time. Oh, I should have got a Pepsi. Is it too late? I feel like it'd be very unprofessional to leave twice. I just got water. I could have gone for a Pepsi. No, I won't go back. I can't go back for Pepsi now. Priorities. I'm in the middle of a live stream, so 1,500. Bench Shaw for Darwin. Yeah, I would. If I had Darwin, I'd absolutely start him. We've got 30 minutes till the deadline, so if we get any leaks on Liverpool, then I'll let you guys know. It is the first fixture of the day, so hopefully we get some news on whether he starts or not. Klopp said that he's in contention, I believe was the quote. What do you guys think the score's going to be then? Liverpool versus Chelsea, first game of the day. Scoreline predictions, what are you guys saying? Keep your questions coming in for FPL, and I'll do my best to answer as many as possible. Rodrigo or Ødegaard? Ødegaard. Is Stones the best City defender? Stones or Ake? I'd say probably Ake. Marwan says 2-1. 2-1 to Liverpool. Romain says Chelsea 2-0 win. 2-all. 3-all. That'd be a great game. 3-all. I mean, I don't own any Liverpool or Chelsea assets, so 3-all would actually be pretty bad for rank. Mudryk own goal. I suppose that wouldn't be as bad as Felix's debut if Mudryk scored an own goal. 0-0. 2-1 Chelsea. Anyway, thanks for getting your votes in on the Double Gameweek 22 poll. 4-1 to Chelsea. Alright, what about City versus Wolves? What do you think the score will be there? Man City versus Wolves at home. I think that's going to be a comfortable City win. I was really surprised and amazed by Pep's post-match conference and comments. He was fuming, despite the win. He was absolutely fuming. You know, he was saying he wants his fans back. He was talking about the players not showing enough fight. So I think he's going to light a fire on their arse, and I think we're going to see a comfortable City win. 4-0, 3-0. Marcus says subfocal, Havertz or Nunez for Martial. I don't think I'd get either of those. If I was going to bring in a Martial replacement, it would be Nketiah or Tony, maybe Nonto from Leeds. I think those three. Assuming you can't get to someone like Kane, obviously, which I doubt you can. Wacker24 says, I'm rolling my transfer. Start Almiron or Havertz. Oh, that's a tough one. Almiron or Havertz? What would you guys do there? Almiron or Havertz? Havertz, I think, just about. That's really close. That one feels like a coin toss. Probably Havertz. Almiron. Most of the chat saying Almiron. Josh says Havertz. I mean, chat's pretty divided as well on that one. Almiron or Havertz? Havertz is such a frustrating player, though. He goes like in these random streaks, random patches of form. It wouldn't surprise you if he hauls against Liverpool and then he doesn't do anything again for like 5 weeks. I'd say go if you gut on that one, honestly. I know you probably hate that answer, but it's so hard to say who's going to do better between Almiron and Havertz. Elliot says Martial to Nketiah, but Martial back before 22. No, I'm done with Martial. Absolutely done with him. Absolutely done with Martial. Back when Fulham got the double game week 19, I had the option to go Martial to Mitrovic for the double game week, and I thought, no, I'll keep hold of him because he could double in 20, he could double in 22, and he's got good fixtures, so I kept hold of him. He's done absolutely nothing for me since that decision, which was a good decision on paper. I know he's not a very reliable pick, but his underlying numbers were really solid as well. So I'm done with Martial. Absolutely done with him. I'm not going to bring him back in this season. Maybe ever again. Same for Digne. Don't get me started on Digne. Sean says, bench one of Mitoma, White and Mbeumo. Mitoma you definitely start, so it's between White and Mbeumo. I think I'd start Mbeumo, just about. Just because Leeds always look like conceding at the moment. I read a stat that won something like, is it like no wins in their last 10 or something? Bench Edouard or Botman? Is Edouard even starting games? I'd bench Edouard. Damn, I was hoping that... Do you remember last season, even before the break, but mainly last season, there was a Crystal Palace league. I just had a quick look at whether they're actually revealing any lineups anymore, and they've only done it once this season. It'd be good to have that again, but it looks like he's keeping quiet with the leaks now. Who's better for Gameweek 21, Kepa or Sanchez? Sanchez. I mean, Chelsea are away to Liverpool. That's a really tough fixture, whatever way you shape it. Even if Liverpool are out of form, it's away at Anfield. Any Liverpool or Chelsea lineups? Nothing at the moment. I'll keep checking. We might get something closer to the deadline, but nothing's come through at the moment. We might get one or two Chelsea players. We might get the full Liverpool lineup. If we do get that, then I'll let you guys know what the team is. I think mainly people are wondering whether Darwin starts or not. Cucurella or Shaw? Sure. Cucurella, I don't know if he even starts now. I think he's out of favour. I think Hall starts. KDB captain, too risky, asks Slaughter. It's a little bit risky after he didn't even play at all last game. Didn't start, didn't come on. It's a little bit risky. Maybe that points towards him starting this one, but it's definitely risky. It's incredibly high upside as well. Last season, De Bruyne scored 4 goals in one game against Wolves. And that's the same fixture he's got now. That was away as well. It was a different system, to be fair. It was when City were playing strikerless, so all the mids were chipping him with goals. But yeah, he scored 4 in one goal against Wolves last season. Marwan triple captain De Bruyne that game. Unbelievable. Jordan says, thoughts on Andreas to Mitoma and benching Almiron? I think this week you're fine to roll the transfer. I think you just start Almiron and roll the transfer. As we were saying earlier, the double Gameweek 22 is not locked in yet. If you roll your transfer, then you're in a good position to attack the double if you want to. Just to recap it one more time. These are the fixtures. Leeds play against Bournemouth or Accrington Stanley, and then Man United play against Reading. All that needs to happen is Leeds and Man United need to win or lose. They just can't draw. As long as they don't draw, then the double Gameweek 22 is locked in, which is these fixtures. So therefore, if you roll a transfer into 21, you've got 2 transfers to take into 22 here, and there's a lot you can do with 2. If you don't own Bruno, you can bring in Bruno. You could even roll the second transfer and sell Bruno straight on for a Mahrez or De Bruyne. There's just so much you can do with two roll transfers rather than spending one to bring in Mitoma and bench Almiron. So I would roll. Do I think Doherty will start? It's 50-50, I think. 50-50. I think Man United concede, so I'm just gambling on Doherty. Because if Doherty starts, then he's likely to keep a clean sheet and he's likely to get an attacker in return, in my opinion. Almiron or Andreas? Almiron. Start Botman or White? Botman. What's the clean sheet odds say on that? One last look at the clean sheet odds as well. Newcastle, 42% chance. Arsenal, 31.5. So, yeah, I'll start Botman. De Gea or Ward? I would say Ward. Will Cancelo start? 50-50 again, I think. We had that predicted lineup from Jump the Wave. Where is it? I think it's just here. This is the predicted Man City lineup from the fans. Jump the Wave. She puts this together each game week based on the fan predictions. Because generally, if you use a bunch of fan predictions, you kind of get a wisdom of the crowd thing. So they've got Gundogan and Foden they think will be benched. Haaland they all think will start. Grealish overwhelmingly they think will start pretty much. Akanji and Lewis they think will start. Walker seems pretty up in the air. Cancelo 5%. So I would say based on the fan predictions he doesn't. I thought it was 50-50 myself, but the fans say no. I really thought he would actually. I think he'd be useful in that game to help break Wolves down. But yeah, maybe we see Ake. Was it the wrong one again? Are you joking? I've done it again. Sorry. I've closed that tab now. I have, honestly, you should see my browser. I have like 30 tabs open every stream. And I label each tab before I go live. Right, here's the correct one. Apologies. Alright, here's the correct one. Zoom out so you can see it all. So Cancelo, yeah, it's 50-50 actually. Cancelo's 50-50 according to the fans to start. Stones, Diaz, Walker, Ake, it's all really up in the air whether they start or not. Akanji and Lewis up in the air. So the City defence is so hard to call this week. But yeah, if I had Cancelo, I think I would just leave him this week rather than spend a transfer. Because it's one of those weeks where there's not any like standout defenders to bring in. If you don't own Trippier, then that makes sense. But beyond that, you've got Arsenal and Man United playing one another, not ideal. Spurs defence isn't worth going there. So it's like, where do you go? Maybe another Newcastle defender, but... Dex says, Andreas Timotoma or Cancelo / James sell. I mean, Cancelo and James are both potential issues. I think James is actually back in training, so he might even play in Gameweek 22. I think you're okay to roll. Andreas Timotoma. Yeah, I suppose that's fine. Andreas Timotoma. Ward or Kepa? Ward, I'd say. Ward. Bueno or Rico Lewis? You have to start Lewis just in case. Early team news. I'll check if there's anything. How long we got? Just under 20 minutes till the deadline. Nothing yet. I mean, we might not get anything at all, but if we get a Liverpool lineup, then I'll share it with you guys. KDB or Mahrez? Good question. If you'd asked me before last game week, I would have said De Bruyne. But now it's much more of a question, isn't it? De Bruyne we always thought was more assured for minutes. To be fair, he has barely been benched, but he was against Tottenham. But if you look at his minutes before that, he played the 90 for like, what, 9 games in a row? The last time he was benched before that is Game Week 5. I do still think De Bruyne, but it's much closer now. It's much closer. If Mahrez carries on playing, then he's undoubtedly the best player. But time and time again, Mahrez has done this. He gets these hauls, sometimes in a double game week, sometimes not. He might go on a run of like, like 5 goals, 3 assists in 4 games, and everyone's like, Mahrez, should we get Mahrez? And then suddenly he's like benched, and that's it. He's out of favour again. And that is still certainly possible. So I think De Bruyne, despite what happened last game week, De Bruyne's had his benching, so maybe that points towards him getting the starts again, based on what we've seen this season. He was benched in Game Week 5 against Forest, benched against Tottenham. Other than that, he's started every game. And surprisingly, in a lot of them, he's played the 90, so it's close, but I'd say KDB. But it's money as well. The money's a factor. Not everyone can afford De Bruyne. FPL Harry or FPL Raptor? What a question, Colm. They're both equal. 2 absolute legends. I have to message them. I'm in a group chat, the 3 of us. I have to say that I've been asked that. FPL Harry or FPL Raptor. What do you guys think in the chat? FPL Harry or FPL Raptor? Who's the best FPL YouTuber? Besides me, obviously. It's gotta be Andy, hasn't it? Andy's the GOAT. Who's your favourite? Do you guys watch like multiple channels? Or do you have like one or two? Who do you guys watch actually? I'm interested to know. Which channels do you watch? Well, it's pretty divided. Raptor versus Harry. It's pretty divided. What channels do you guys watch other than this one? Sam says he only watches me. FPL Duo. All FPL. Black Box. Yeah, I watch Black Box. I'll be honest. I'll be brutally honest. I don't watch any FPL YouTubers besides Black Box. Because the thing is, like, when you do this full time, every day you live and breathe FPL. Before I did this, I used to be obsessed with FPL content. I used to be subscribed to so many channels. Like FPL Tips deserves a mention. Great channel. I take a lot of inspiration from him. I used to be obsessed with FPL content before I started doing this. And now that I do this, because I do FPL every day, all day, every day, it's kind of like, you know, when it's your job, you have less appetite to also go and watch content when you're making it every day. Does that make sense? Sam says, so it's your fault if I lose rank. Fair enough. FPL mate. Lockdown Booty says, I'm loyal to Focal. Slippers and Black Box. Yeah, FPL Tips is good. Above average. Chasing Green Arrows. Let's Talk FPL. We're spoilt for choice, aren't we? So many good YouTube channels. Let's Talk FPL and me. Me and FPL mate. Fantasy Football Fix. Yeah, they're good. FPL Raptor. FPL 1 says 2 transfers, Rodrigo and Tony, or Fernandez and Nonto. I prefer Fernandez and Nonto. Between those two, yeah, definitely. I think there wasn't any other super chats I missed, or was there? Thoughts on Captain and Trippier, sir? Asked Jordan. Yeah, this has been asked a lot this stream, and we were talking about it earlier because he is so consistent. You know, 1 blank in his last 14 games. You can't ask for much more. The only thing you can ask for is he doesn't blank in that one game. But yeah, you want a consistent performer as your captain, which he is. He's not as explosive, obviously. He does have 3 double-digit returns this season, which came fairly recently. But in my opinion, when you're captain and play, chase the upside. And I think Haaland's the upside, so I prefer Haaland. I think Kane's better, but Trippier is good. Oi, what was your cousin's name on Spotify again? I wanted to check it out the other day, but couldn't remember. His name is Wilding. The song was called Boxer Meet Canvas, and his name is Wilding. You only watch me. A lot of you saying you only watch me. I appreciate that. Whether you're being honest or not, jury's out, but I appreciate that. FPL Harry and Oscar. The Flisk says, hold transfer or get Martial out, Mitro or Callum. So if you're not tripled up on Arsenal, then I think Martial to Nketiah makes sense this week. If you're tripled up, then it's a bit trickier. I don't think I'd go Martial to Mitro and Callum. Tony's the only one I'd consider other than that, maybe Nonto. It also depends if you have someone to start, if he is out. Yeah, I don't know if I'd go for Wilson or Mitro. Certainly not Mitro. He's playing against Tottenham. Is this your worst year in FPL? Yeah, by far actually. It's crazy. I was looking at the FPL review, season review tool, and it rates your season where your rank is expected to be based on like XG and underlying data and so on. And mine was top 10k, and it measures how much you've been on the wrong side of variance. And mine was something like minus 60 points on the wrong side of variance. So I'm not even doing anything differently. I'm playing the same way that got me to number 1 last season. It's just been one of those seasons where so much has gone unbelievably wrong. Unbelievably, so much has gone wrong. But that's just the way FPL is sometimes. But yeah, by far my worst start ever. I've never had a bad rank. But I'm on my way right now. So we'll see what happens in the second half of this season. What you can't do is go on tilt and start making reckless decisions. So I'll keep making what I think is the best decision. And this week I think that's Martial to Shaw. Is there a website for predicted points? Yeah, there's a few. I use FPL Review. They're really good. Oh, I'm starting to lose my voice for the last 10. Right, see if there's any leaks on Liverpool or Chelsea. Nothing. I'll keep an eye out closer to the deadline. The question mark is whether Darwin starts or not. Nketiah, you mean? Yeah, sorry, what did I say? Martial to Nketiah. Oh no. Santa Claus says, I like to watch you in different accounts using different characters. That's fine, just like the videos from multiple accounts. No, I'm kidding. Cuckoo to white or roll and start short. Yeah, cuckoo to white. I'd do that move. This isn't good. My voice is hurting. Pratik says Patterson replacement for 4.4 mil or under. Has Botman gone up or is he still 4.4? If he's still 4.4, Botman's got to be the one. Ah, he's 4.5. He's gone up. I couldn't believe that, by the way. Look at defenders and 79 points. What is he? The 7th top scoring defender. And up until recently, he was less than he started at. Oh dear. But he went up this week actually. 4.4 under. There's not many options, is there, this week? Oh, there's not many options at all. The thing is, you want to also bring in a defender this week who has a fixture in 25. I think if you're bringing in defenders like that now, it needs to be someone who also has a fixture in 25. Where's the graphic? Oh, I've lost it. That's not what I wanted. Where is it? I'm all over the place today. This one. Man United, Brentford, Newcastle and Brighton are favourites to blank in 25. So if you're bringing in a defender now, I'll bring in someone who doesn't blank in 25. So, you know, like West Ham defence might be good, but I wouldn't go there. Because they got a good fixture this week. I don't know actually, there is none that stand out to me this week. Perro, Southampton defender. There's really no one that stands out this week. Got Focal's on the ropes now. How long we got? 7 minutes. Alright, let's do it. Yeah, I actually don't have an answer to that one. There's just no one that stands out this week. I would avoid it if you can. Surely you have 3 other defenders you can start, is the answer. Surely you have 3 other defenders you can start ahead of him, right? How many points have I got? 1,150. Start Andreas or Almiron? Almiron. Tony for Mitrovic. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Good move. I like Nketiah more. Ilias says, should I start Rico Lewis over Shaw for this game week? And I'm on 1,183 points. Should I start Rico Lewis? It's really hard to say whether he starts or not. That's the problem. Let's go with what that Man City prediction says. Which is here. 45% they've predicted Lewis start. I think they could both score similarly. If Lewis doesn't start, does he come on? Maybe. Do Man United concede 2? Maybe. It's probably the same outcome. I think I'd start Shaw. Yeah, exactly. I'd start Shaw. Who's at the top of your mini league? Good question. I actually don't know. Let's have a look. If anyone wants to join the mini league, you've got 5 minutes. Link in the description for that. Your points start from Gameweek 1, so you're not too late. Top of the mini league is Michael Bertel. He's 115th overall. Hey, 58 points. What? He scored 58 and he's still top. He must have been flying before that. Where was he? Wow, he was 3rd at one point. Oh, that's brutal. He went 3rd to 5th, 21, 115. Wow, he got 118 points in Gameweek 17. That's crazy. He's still top. He must have been comfortably ahead. Twitter rumours circling that Trent and Nunes don't start. I can't tell you how valid the rumours are. It's team news and ticks. Obviously he's pretty reliable for stuff, but he's just pointing out rumours on Twitter. So it could be nothing in it. Interesting. I haven't seen those rumours at all myself. But yeah, I think Nunez is a sell anyway. What I will say, I got a DM like, when was it? Just over a week ago. Or 2 weeks ago. And they said Darwin's out for potentially 3 weeks. Which would take us past this game. Can we do an age poll? Yep. What are the options then? 0 to 18, 19 to 29. $30 to $45, 46 plus. There we go. An on FPL poll for once. Don't know if that's the right age brackets I should have used. Best vice cap option, Kane or De Bruyne. Do I bench Martial or Andreas? I think Martial either starts or doesn't play at all. So I'd start Martial. Yeah, I can't tell you how much truth is in the rumours that Darwin and Trent don't start, but it's team news and ticks that pointed it out, so maybe. Should I start Veghorst in 22? Yeah, you have to start him. Now I'll do a wage poll. I'm not doing a wage poll. That would be interesting, but the problem is, I've asked before where you guys are from, and these streams are so diverse. Every country in the world is represented on these streams. And salaries vary massively by country, based on the cost of living. 52% are aged 19 to 29. Interesting, so that's by far the majority. 0 to 18, 22%. 30 to 45, 21%. 5%, 46 and over. Right, final reminder, get your bench sorted, captain sorted, team in the right order. You've got a minute till the deadline. But there's been no leaks, surprisingly. The only rumours that we've had is that Nunez and Trent don't start, but just a rumour. Nothing on Chelsea. Loco says I'm old. Continent poll. Alright, continent poll. I'm not going to fit them all on though. No, it doesn't work. I shouldn't have done that. I guess I'll just do Americas for North and South. We don't need Antarctica, do we? What, do I have to throw like Asia? What's it called? Oceania. Oceania and Asia. What do you call it when you put them together? Americas, Asia, Africa, Europe, Oceania. Just Asia and Oceania. Alright. Is there anyone live to raid? Maybe not this week.
And a sticker that you can buy to support the Gold and Gold channel. So if you want to have a look at that, please.
Okay, over to this channel, Gold and Gold Fantasy Football. Right, that's the deadline, 11:01. 59% of you are from Europe, 16% Africa, 3% North or South America. Oh, to be fair, it must be like 3 AM in North or South America. If anyone in the chat is from North or South America, respect for getting up for this. 23% Asia and Oceania. I think the results would look different if it was in an evening, UK time. Right, we're going to head over to Gold and Gold Fantasy Football. Is he still alive?
Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.
He's not. Alright, we just missed the raids. Alright, we're not going to raid anyone. That's it. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Before you go, please hit like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I appreciate you all tuning into this stream. It's been another good one. Enjoy the game week, and I'll see you next week for more FPL content. Focal out.